And we're live. We are finally live. Welcome to Live in the O. It's your boy, Omar Cotto. The channel is Real Orlando Living. Listen, I want to say a special thank you to everybody who's been giving out information, uh, you know, DMing me, emailing me, calling me, texting me, for content ideas and things they want to know about the Central Florida market. This is what this is all about. We do these lives weekly for people who are looking to either move into the area and understand what's going on in the local environment, in the local market, the Orlando real estate market. On top of that, we also do it for people who are local who want to know what's going on in the area because they're thinking about moving up. They're thinking about, hey, I've already bought real estate and I like this house, but I might think about moving into other areas or moving to other types of properties. So we want to let you know what's going on in the market so you can make a better decision. And then on top of that, just general people who love news about real estate, things that are affecting in their market. And as always, I'm joined with your boy. Who we got with us?
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Right Choice, and I'm back again on another Wednesday episode. What we got going on for today? I love my new
So
setup real quick. You know what I'm saying? I like this new setup. What you think?
hold on. Let's give some respect to the new setup. Let's see. Look at this. Look at him. He got the
Yeah, I
purple
got
lights.
new little setup, but new little setup, man. That's why moving a little slow, but I'm back on it. Make sure I got my notes. I couldn't actually see them notes because I don't got Orlando Business Journal, but it is what it is.
It's all good. So listen, we're gonna go over three different topics today. With the current market state, there's a lot of talks about what's happening with new constructions, what is happening with new projects that are happening, what is the new things that are happening. Because what's happening is a lot of people are trying to buy property and they're buying resale property and they're like, what the heck? $700,000 gives me that. $500,000 give me that, and they're paying four, five, $6,000 a month for a home that they still need to renovate. So new construction has been a huge topic when it comes to the market. So we're going to go over a what are the big boys? What is Warren Buffett saying about new construction? He's signaled the market about 6 months ago. I'm late on it, but I want to give you an idea of what happened there, and then I want to give you an idea on where our housing is now. Turns out there's a huge shortage. So we're going to go over what that looks like, what that means in the market. And then at the end, we're going to go over different solutions, different ways that we see that could help you win in this market. So without further ado, let's go right into it. Man. Boop.
All right,
Eventually
Warren
I'll get
Buffett.
better. Eventually I'll get better at this. Jeez. So Warren Buffett is, you know, a man that everybody talks about and nobody really knows what he does, bro. How much do you know about Warren Buffett?
I know he rich.
That's what you know about Warren Buffett?
Yeah, he's rich. Oh, the reason your screen like that because you got an overlay over the back part. That's why
What do you mean?
there's a why you can't see me. So there's another thing right there. That's why
How do
it's
I
like a
make you?
call. It's a layer.
Man, I love it when I can't figure things out, bro. Now look at you. How do I make you smaller? Help me. Help me, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, that's the well. Yeah, you just have me super big. I see what the issue is. So just do this to make it easier. Just make it the whole screen. Just don't have us on just to go over it real quick. We can go back and forth side by side.
All right, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. Let's just do that. So first things first, um, Warren Buffett is stating that. Let me see this real quick. I got a better one. Maybe this one. Maybe this one will work. Maybe this one will work. We'll do that. We'll do this, sir. There you are. We'll do it that way. Your boy always figures it out. All right. So Warren Buffett just closed. When I say just closed, this happened back in December. He sold off approximately 6 million shares of DR Horton, which was the vast majority of its home builder investment. So check this out, Jermaine. So back in August, he actually bought 5.9 million shares, 5.96714 million shares and of D.R. Horton. He also bought 152,572,000 shares of Lennar, and then he bought 11,000 shares of Ryan Holmes, which we both don't know much about, but he bought that as well. Um, in all, it was about $800 million worth of real estate when it
Investment.
comes to. I mean, when it comes to real estate home builders.
Mm-mm-mm.
So here's the thing: out of that $700 million, out of $800 million, 700 million of that was D.R. Horton stock. So the vast majority of his investment was D.R. Horton. So what does that mean? What does that mean when this guy buys that much in real estate stock? Well,
I get well.
turns out last year, home builders had some of the most record high years ever. So if you go from top to bottom, if you overall the S&P 500 grew about 24%. If you see that number right there, home builders like Pulte and Toll Brothers grew over 100%. Their stock rose over 100%. But DR Horton rose at 70%, Lennar rose at 64.7%, and Ryan at 51%. So what he basically did was he came in August, caught his gain, and then sold it off. Which, sounds like he timed the market perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Warren Buffett is not known to invest short term like that. He's famous for saying back in the 90s. He's got. Let me see if it says it in here. I don't know if it says it in here or not. But back in the 90s, he was famous for saying, "Hey, you rather own a stock for 10 years than 10 minutes." So he's all about long-term holdings. And for him to go in and sell that fast, it triggered a bunch of people to be like, "Hey, what's going on?" So that made me think. That's what got me on this new build rabbit hole. Why would he do that? So when you think of DR Horton, Lennar, and Ryan Holmes, what kind of home buyer are you thinking of?
Them are normally first time home buyers. Uh, normally on the lower price point of them builders. They do have higher price points. The two stores or whatnot that may bump first time homeowners out, but they're mainly are for first time homeowners. And they usually, well, I do know with DR Horton usually has the best deals. For first time homeowners, or somebody wants to upgrade or downgrade, whatever, they usually have great incentives, as in closing costs, and also lower interest rates, because they're the number one builder in America, so they're able to buy points in bulk. And they're not going to get killed with that. They can afford that. So by them buying points in bulk, they can have that reduced rate. Now they can't reduce it that much because the market if the market is indicating that the rates are in 7-8%, they can't do 2% because it's just not feasible for them to buy all the way down there. So that's why you see their rates fluctuate every 3 months to it was at what was that 4.5, I believe. Well, I would say 4.9. We went to 5.5. Then we went to 6. Then we went to 4. Then we went back to 5.5. And all them that's FHA too, guys, not conventional. Conventional is a different rate, but I've seen the changes in that because their buy down for the consumer is based off what the market indicates what a rate's at. So when the rate drops or when a rate higher. Now, if there's a rate drop, say tomorrow, I'm pretty sure they're going to go in negotiation to drop them rates real quick to match what the market is. Now, if the rate goes up higher, their rate's still going to stay the same until it gets back to the point they got to renegotiate. That's why majority of times you see a 3 month block or a 2 month block when you talk to reps. So that's the one thing I see with DR Horton. I can understand why Warren Buffett probably did invest into DR Horton, because DR Horton is the number one builder in the world. They got the best deals. People want to buy homes, so who you gonna go to? 9 times out of 10, you're gonna utilize going to DR Horton because that investment that he did was actually a good investment. And also see how he also pulled out too as well, because me and Omar talked about earlier. The crazy thing about the market last year, they kept on saying that the market was going to drop. I'm pretty sure that he probably thought that same thing too, and gets did further research and probably knew something we didn't know, that the race was not going to drop like it's supposed to. Because if it did drop, all the builders will probably be back to where we was before. We're in bidding wars with new construction, and also they're building homes way too fast, so they're only allotting 10 homes to be sold every month or 5 homes to be sold every month. Because when the rates are too low, it kind of hurts the economy, because now we can't build homes as fast because we're selling homes way too fast than we can build.
Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Oh,
Let's.
well, you the one let me talk.
I know. Let's tackle some of the stuff you said real quick. So yes, I think that he knew something was up last year. I think
Yeah, I think
that
so.
people like Warren Buffett, like literally, he's been the richest man in the world. I mean, teetering back and forth for how long now? Probably for the last 20 or 30 years. He's been one of the richest, if not the richest people in the world. Do you think this guy has private investigators, companies that actually look into things like this to give him some information? Now, that's insider trading is what they talk about. But you think that he gets information differently than we do?
Yeah, yes, of course. Obviously, he gets all the money. He has all the resources. He can deep dive and get that information. I'm pretty sure anything that he invests in, he paying a lot of people money to figure out if this is the right move. Of he a great move. I'm pretty sure he does research on it.
I know the research. The thing is that he's the oracle, so he does it himself. The big thing I take away with this is that last year we were I got caught up in this, and I'm the first person skeptical, man. I'm like, hey, when it comes
Hmm.
to interest rates, when people start talking interest rates, I'm like, what I realized the last few years is that nobody knows anything about interest rates, and the first person to talk to you about it, you must steer clear, man, because they on some BS. They're reading the same thing you're reading. They're reading the same thing I'm reading, and we're all like in this big old echo chamber of stuff that of not knowing basically. So I
Facts.
got caught up in that last year, and I was like, hey, all the ex quote unquote experts were saying that we were supposed to have 3 rate drops, this year, and they were all calling for it. I was like, hey, next year the rate drops are gonna happen, and I should have been a little smarter on the tea leaves, because guess what happened now? From that point, we're like a point and a half higher than that right now on the interest rates. I think that he knew something was up, something was going to happen. I think that he calculated all the new starts that were happening and how there was a housing shortage, and how when you raise the interest rates, who are the first people affected
First
by
time homebuyers.
first time home buyers? 500 to a million, they're not really affected. Those houses are flying off the market here locally. But that 500 to 300, they're taking longer to sell, and it's a harder loan to get for a lot of people. So I think that he knew that. I think that he was reading onto that, and he said, "You know what? I just gained 50% of my money, and if it's 800 million, go do the math. I mean, I don't know how much exactly he made on it, but it went up 50% last year. But you do the math on that. If you're getting double digit return on $700 million, I don't think he did bad."
Crazy.
So the reason I bring up DR is because they are, the first time home. They are the biggest home seller, like he alluded to, in the United States. They're the biggest new home builder. On top of that, they own DHI, and they're giving out probably the most amount of FHA loans other than any other builder. So they're when you talk about the front lines of interest rate at FHA, it's them. They're the first ones.
Well, DR Horton went anyway. They got their own lender. They got their own title company. So they're winning all the way around. And then one thing about DR Horton, other people don't. Some people don't like them, but they build block on block. Everybody don't build block on block down here. Even the high
Ooh,
end
tell them.
build block on block. So they have a lot of. And another thing too, All DR Horton communities is not for first time home buyers. They do have luxury DR Horton homes, especially over there in Waterley. Waterley, them homes are not them are higher end homes. I used to go out there a lot to record. So all the called the Emerald, if I believe the
The
Emerald
Emerald,
class.
yeah, the Emerald line, the Emerald series.
Yeah, so they do have high end that you can get the homes customized too. So don't get it twisted, you guys. You know, DR Horton does have all the different levels for you. They have townhomes, they have luxury, and they have entry level homes to get to get you into the home ownership. When I say entry level, and even that changed since I've been in real estate for 7 years. They used to do Flamica countertops with just carpet everywhere, some black appliances. They have upgraded a little bit better now. Now they're doing granite or quartz, depending on what area. They're doing tile now. They're doing stainless steel appliances. They're having a porch out in the front. Some of them are doing also pavers in the front. So even though it's a entry, it's not entry levels for first time homebuyers. They have really nice homes now, so they are up in their style, how they're building to be more competitive in this market.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw a D.L. Horton home, and, you know, in the resale market, when you see a D.L. Horton home, you know it's a D.L. Horton home. You're like,
Yeah, you
oh,
can. I can still tell now. Yeah,
yeah. You're like, well, this is
yeah, but
where we at, boys and girls. This is where we're at. You know,
but
but
what's
let's.
great for. But I'll say of this for me, I have since I've been a real estate, I sold more DR Horror homes than I sold any, if anything, only because I do not so much recently, but my beginning of my career, I did a lot of first time home buyers. I dealt with them more, so that was really the builder to go to because, like I said, um, lower rate at that time they weren't doing lower rates really. It was like whatever the rate was at the market,
They were
but
just
they
beating the
had
crap out of everybody on price.
yeah, price was great, and also the closing costs. You can't beat, closing costs was amazing, and they had what you wanted at the time. Now it's a little harder. Like if you see something, you better go get it. But back then, it had a little, the inventory was really good. So that was really good. I know it was two more builders on there. He didn't mention that he bought that I know a little about too.
So the others are Ryan Holmes and let me bring it up real quick. Not that one. Boop. So the others are Ryan Holmes and what do you call it?
To
And
my Lennar.
Lennar, which is crazy because when it comes to Ryan Holmes and Lennar, Lennar right now has they got huge projects going on right now in Claremont. We're talking about Wellness Ridge is popping and it's been going on for a long time. Not to mention, I just got one. I got a couple of contracts right now. One of them is on Next Gen. So Next Gen is a multi generational suite home. So they have
But
the in law suite right in the front, and those homes. I just got one under contract, bro. A resale for just over $400,000. Can you
so
believe
my
that?
boy, he invests a lot down here till he moved. So he stays out there in St. Cloud where he did. He bought a lot of them in Mattamy. Most of his investment products were Lennar, the higher end. He had a next gen. I think he sold it for like 700.
Oh, you're talking about the big Next Gen. You're talking about the one that
Yeah, but but I know Lennar back then was very popular with next gens. I know a lot of people that wanted next gen. Lennar was one of the homes I can really think of that had next gen. And also, who a builder? This is off the subject. A builder that I like that got bought by Lennar was Cal Atlantic. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
remember
that's
that.
right. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I
What I liked
before that's
about
before I
Kyle
got in real estate.
Atlantic is that they had like the little bit of better upgrades for the price. So the same price, but you can get the 8 foot door frames, you can get the 5 1/4 inch baseboards. But I think all of Lennar's products are that. I think
Correct. For another example too. I did love Hanover Family Builders, but they got bought out by Lancy too as well. And that's a good subject to talk about this too, you guys, because Hanover Family Builders got out the game when the boom happened. They said they ain't want to be in this rat race. So they sold it to Lancy. When I talked to the rep, they said that's what I because I didn't nobody knew there was was selling. They just said they decided to sell everything they had. and it kind of makes sense for them. They got out, when all the craziness started happening. But I like Hanover better than Lansing though.
Oh, that's interesting. So let's get some plus or minuses real quick. So pluses of DR Horton is that you for the price, you can't beat it. The new construction for the price, you can't beat it. On
And
top
square
of that,
footage, yep, you can't beat it at all.
you can't beat it for the size, the price, and the square foot. All that you can't beat DR Horton. And now that he mentioned that they got the upgrades coming in with you, they're becoming one of the more viable options. The cons though is that it looks like a more basic home, man. Like to me, it's a square home and it has just what you need. It's not no frills. You're not gonna go, oh, look at the pretty thing. Like you're gonna have to do everything after you move in there. So hopefully you're saving on the house and then afterwards you're adding all the upgrades and
It,
anything that you want in the property.
and another thing too as well, just I just like to be transparent and realistic. So DR Horton too, depends on the neighborhood and where you live. It attracts certain kind of buyers in that neighborhood too as well. So, what
What?
I mean by that, and this, what I mean by that is that's why it's important for HOA. Like one community, DR Hornells, they was allowing people would just drive, like park on the side of the road. They had their cars parked in the grass. This was the
Mm.
DR Horton, Meritage Homes, another builder. All them, they all mixed together. I'm not saying nothing bad about it, but I just noticed that's a difference in the community. When it depends on what area you move to with DR Horton, that I have noticed. And also my buyers noticed too as well. That's why the reason I said that, because I had buyers that said they want to move away from there to move to another location just because of the people that was buying homes. Because by them being cheap,
Easy.
more
Easy, bro.
by them
You
being
trying to
more.
get here.
No, I'm just saying, by them being more affordable, a lot of investors was buying and renters was going in and compared to theirs.
Oh, I see what
So
you're saying. So you're saying that investors buy those properties first and they bring in tenants,
there's
which are
yeah,
renters. And if you rent, you don't
yeah,
tend to care about the properties that much. So you're not keeping it up. You're not caring about the actual welfare of the neighborhood. And a lot of the
correct.
other homeowners are complaining about it. Ah,
So
okay.
that's
I
just
see
to
what you're
keep.
saying there.
So just yeah. So just keep that in mind. So you're not gonna see that much right now because it doesn't make sense for an investor to buy new construction unless they
Well,
just got
because once
buku
they
money and
pass
they
that
just
$300,000 price point, a lot of investors are not like jumping into new construction as much anymore.
with the rates. Like back then when the rates was low, COVID, that was eating them up. There was investors buying the whole community because it made sense. You buying it super cheap, you're getting charged so much for rent, but you're not seeing that much now. But the people that bought homes during COVID time in the communities, buyers, they definitely see it. That there's one that lives that I sold is in Apaka. They found out that majority everybody on their street are renters. They found out because they was like, why so many people park on the side of the road? And kind of find out there was renters. They bought the house really affordable. So
If
just
it's
keep
renters,
that
they
in
have
mind.
more than mom and dad with a car. They got multiple adults with cars, and they don't have enough space
Yeah,
in the
so
driveway.
yeah.
So give me a plus and minus about Lennar. Give me a plus about Lennar.
Well, Lennar, one thing Lennar has, well, I can't even really say plus no more because
I can
DR
give you more
Horton, I'll
plus.
say
I give
well,
you more plus.
their upgrades are almost no, take that back. No, Lennar upgrades are better because they'll do pendant lights, they'll do quartz countertops. They have better flooring too as well. They have better upgrades. The cons I don't like about Lennar,
Hold
majority
on.
of the Lennar
Let
community.
me give a pro.
Go
Let me
ahead.
give a pro. Let me get one pro before you start going right into the con. So you said they have better upgrades. I argue they got slightly better communities too. In my opinion, I think Lennar's actual communities themselves are just planned out a little better. They got a better feel to them. A lot of them like have resort style pools. They have amenities that come with it compared to like a DR Horton that doesn't have a lot of that. So I would argue that a Lennar neighborhood is pretty decent.
Yeah, but there's some DR Horton's got resort style pools too as well. But I know why you say that because Lennar builds their homes, their exterior of their homes look better than DR Horton. So that will
Objectively
obviously make
speaking, yeah.
it'll definitely make the community look different because all of them don't look cookie cutter. We just want to be honest. But yeah, he is correct.
I don't know about that. Now, the cons. Let's go to cons real fast.
My only con, to be honest, with Lennar Well, it used to be two cons, so I'll just be honest. One of the cons used to be they ain't pay realtors, one, but they fixed that since COVID. That was one. The second one is they majority of their communities have solar panels now. Stupid. They're selling like a junk. They're
Ah,
selling like a combo thing. They're making you get the solar panel, especially the community up here in Apopka. They have solar panels connected to it. But beautiful homes though. They got a single story home that looks great space and everything, and they give you wash. I think they give you washer and dryer that may stop
easy.
that, but
We
that
don't
was the
know.
last time.
You gotta see which community. My con on Lennar's is that you only get three different options. I think that their option count is like very limited. Like you either get white
Oh yeah.
cabinets, black cabinets, or gray cabinets. That is
What DR
it.
Horton the same way. DR Horton the same way.
Yeah, but DR we expect it for the price point, and a Lennar it's a little bit more expensive of a price point. They look a little bit better, and you think, okay, they look better. Maybe we can get different interiors that are not the same as your neighbor. Like all the houses, as soon as a Lennar property comes on the market, you know it's a Lennar property. Like, yep.
Oh, now I would pick a Lennar home. I would pick a DR Horton over a Lennar if it was the same price. This
Why?
is why. Because Lennar Homes does not have lanais. They have a square
Mm.
concrete block in the back. DR Horton, their single story homes come with lanais. The two stories, no. But the single stories all come with lanais. Lennar doesn't. So when you go on your back, you don't have nothing covered. It's just a little small little concrete block right there. So that's I would pick Lennar every single because that costs more money to add to the back.
So let's not beat this dead horse. I hope if you like what we're saying, leave some comments. Share this with a friend that want to know the difference between these two builders because they're looking out at some of these communities. We just gave you two of the builders, some of our insight of what we see. We are in the marketplace literally every day, so we're looking at new construction. Tremaine is taking videos of these things every day. I'm in there with buyers and taking videos as well in these properties. So when if you ever think about if you want to know more in depth, you want to get the realness that we can't say, on a platform like this, our contact information is below. You see our screen names right here. You can DM us, you can call us, you can text us, whatever you need. We're available to you. But let's go into the
Yeah.
next
What is
one.
what is the next one? 'Cause I thought it was new
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
construction.
It is new construction. It's all new construction. Hold on a second. Man, I'm telling you what, man, like I have so what's happening right now is kind of crazy, man. Um, so as interest rates are going up, who do you think that's affecting? Or you think that's just affecting
Well, that affects the
home
first.
buyers?
Well, it affects everybody, but yes, if I was saying the real estate market, it affects first time home buyers because it decreases what they can afford.
I would argue that it affects developers more.
Developers more.
Yes. So
Yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah,
happening?
yeah. It does. Yeah, it does.
So there's the Atlanta Business Journal again. I love this publication. They're doing such a good job reporting this kind of stuff. But they're reporting that a lot of developers are having issues getting funding for their or even affording new projects.
I wonder
So
why.
right now, developers are saying so. There's people in here like this guy right here, from First. What is it? Jeff Colbert. He's an executive
Yeah.
vice president for First Continental Investment Company, which is a lender that specializes in residential lot acquisition and developing finance. And they've recently been lended $18.5 million for a residential community in Apopka. So what happens is people love land, right? Land has become valuable in Central Florida. That land then needs to be made into um, a residential community. That
Hmm.
process used to take anywhere from 12 to 18 months. I mean, it used to take 6 months, and now it's taking 12 to 18 months due to local government staff being stretched thin. So what is that affecting? Well, now instead of having a loan that they would have got at like 4%, their loan now is at like 6 and 7%. So a lot of the deals that they had in the pipeline to help to get ready with for the next couple years are starting not to work. When I say not to work, they're not profitable. They're not making money on them because they have to pay so much in carrying costs and so much interest on those loans. So a lot of developers are saying, "Hey, I mean, they're all but ringing the alarm in the local newspapers talking about how like here, look at this. Smith said he expedited the process of legal fees representation to the same developers and home builders. It could take anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 a project. And I paid $10,000 in attorney fees for a hearing, and it got turned down. So they're spending more money to get properties entitled. They're spending more money to get properties in front of a hearing to get in because the community. A lot of communities. I live in the East Orlando area, bro. I live in Oviedo, and a lot of people don't want development. They're like, listen,
Oh, we got a whole bunch of it.
yeah, we don't out here. They don't want. They want to have a more rural lifestyle. They're tired of the 0.17 to 0.25 acre lots. They say, hey, we want half acre lots. We want acre lots. We want 5 acres. So
Wedgefield, basically.
not just Wedgefield. Oviedo's got it. Geneva. A lot of Seminole County has it. Did you know a third of Seminole County is not developable? Developable. Did you
Yeah,
know
I've been
that?
back there a lot. That back road, you see a lot of it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I live off by that. That's where I live.
Yeah, the back road is actually nice back there, but that drive like going up north, like to Gainesville and stuff.
Yeah, but so what they're doing is they're encroaching on a lot of these rural boundaries, and then what's going to happen? They have to go to hearings for rezoning and to get the local population to get behind their deals, and a lot of local populations are stalling. So you have
Mhm.
communities like the Grow. I don't know if you're familiar with the Grow out by 50. That's supposed to be this farmhouse type of neighborhood that's been in development for the last 7 years, and it still hasn't been able to get off the ground.
Well, I can attest to that over here in Apoca. There's a community over here, Park Square. They're supposed to be building townhomes. It's been like 2 years. They just now starting to develop. And there's also another they're building over here like a nice little small little area for like doctor's office food, and it's taking longer than normal too that I have noticed. And then the Toll Brothers community I just went to, like showed my buyer last week. They've been developing that for a while, so I can see that, and it's also taking a while to build for them too. Because when I went to Toll Brothers, she told me there was a year out. I said, well, for one, a pocket takes a long time for permits, like 4 months. But she said a year out. I'm like, dang, a year out? That's a long time now. Like nobody wants to be a year out now with these rates. You can't really identify.
Think about what you just said. Let's get into that a little bit. You said that one of these builders, Tolbert, said you're a year out. That means you got a
Yes,
property right now. You want to get a property in a year, right? And it's a Toll Brothers property, which is not a cheap property. It's typically a move up buyer, somebody who's coming in with a lot of cash,
yeah,
or selling
he
a
bought
property to get into it.
yeah he bought a couple of properties, so this is his norm. Like that's the kind of that was like
It's
when he
still
went
a
to the
big
house, he like
investment. Even if it's normal, it's still
yeah,
a big investment. They're bringing in a
it
lot of
is.
cash. So they're either A, tying up capital that they want to put towards that project, or they are waiting to sell their property to use that capital to buy that property, which happens a lot. So the pricing that we're giving you is based on today's numbers, not the future numbers. And then on
And you
top of
got to
that,
get
if it's a
yep,
year
and you
out, how are you negotiating to sell your property with that? And a lot of these builders don't even like that.
Well, for one, you got to be approved for both homes right now. So if you got a house to sell, you got to make enough money to afford the new house and carry the other house because you can't sell nothing right now unless you're going to sell and go move into an apartment or your parents' house or something. You can't. Most people can't do both. And two, you got to be so the problem with the year out because I had to go through it on my home. My home it took
Mhm.
14 months. So I had to get approved at the beginning phase and I had to get approved a couple times during the whole process because the rates kept on changing. So what was happening was it was knocking people out of qualifying for the house because the further the rates go up, you was probably already borderline like 50, 49, 47, talking about DTI. You was already close. And when the rate goes up, you waiting a whole year. If you don't have a lot of wiggle room, that may affect you, when you're going in the beginning process. That means you got to put more money down to qualify and stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with a year out, but you got to be really strategic with the year out, especially right now. We can't say rates gonna go down, rates gonna go up. Just going off what we're going through. Like now, me and Omar could definitely we can like 10 years from now, if somebody says we've been through this before, yes, we've been through this before. I don't care what anybody else says that race gonna change. When me and Omar went through it, it didn't change. So we just have to just ride the wave and figure out exactly what's gonna actually come. Because what happened with us, old heads that's been in it, they've been in a situation like this, they all said that, well, the race gonna go down historically. Historically, they said that, but right now it's not. So at the end of the day, we still rolling with the punches, still selling homes. At the end of the day, new construction still selling. We still talk to buyers every day. You just got to get with realtors to figure out exactly, what we need to do to get you in a home, what kind of strategies, game plan to, get you guys in a home. Basically,
because it is taking longer to buy that house. So they're giving you more incentives for the houses that are like in inventory rather than to be
correct.
built. So if you're seeing homes when you go to areas, if you go to new construction and they're like, hey, what's in inventory? They're gonna try to throw you everything to try to get you to buy that house instead of trying to get it built.
Another cheat code for new construction to let you guys know. So a lot of people get confused on new construction when they see a home, let's say Toll Brothers. You see a home that says $500,000 online. They be like, "Oh, this house $500,000." You forget about a lot of factors: the lot, the and the upgrades. Them are the two things you don't account for when you see that. The cheat code with that is look at them builders and look at their spec homes that's going to be ready to move in now. That will kind of determine if it's the same home. That will let you know that that's the price range the house will probably be when you do all your upgrades and buy the lot. So when you see that $500,000, that's just the beginning of it. But if you see some quick move-ins, you can kind of see that the house probably going to be like 650, 620, or maybe
Here's a
600. You can
prime
kind of see that.
example. Here's a prime example. They have I'm trying to get in contract right now. Shout out in Sunbridge, and the property is $570,000, but they have a spec that's $90,000 more. So
Good example.
that spec right now is $90,000 more to buy right now. And you would think, why if you can get by right now? Well, that's because A, the lot premium, and then B, the amount of upgrades. You're gonna go to a house, you're gonna fall in love with that model, and you're gonna
That
be like,
ugh, you want everything in that model. So yeah, and,
there,
and don't get it twisted too. The average person that spends at it's between $30,000 to $40,000 you're gonna spend. So you're gonna spend places depend on the builder. You're gonna spend upgrades in two locations. When you go on a contract, you got to do your construction. That's the right word, right? I'm saying it right.
your
Constructional
what?
upgrades. The
Structural.
structural, I'm tripping. Structural upgrades, meaning as in if you want a longer sliding door, or if you want pendant lights, or you want this door here, all that. That's the first upgrades that got to go in, and it changed the price. Then
Here's a
you go
prime
to the
example of a
design.
structural upgrade. That large slider, favorite everybody. Everybody loves indoor outdoor living, and they all want
Yep,
the three-way slider, or they want the slider that connects them on both sides, and they can open up, and it opens up the whole patio. That's a
yep,
structural upgrade. They got to change the structure a lot for that door, and
and
that
that costs
door
money.
is $15,000 to $25,000 just for that upgrade.
And also too, say if you want the lanai to be the length of the back, the it depends on the builder. All of them don't do it, but say you want your lanai to be the length of the house on the back. That's a structural upgrade. So that's more money. The elevation. Say you like elevation D compared to elevation A. Guess what? That's more money too as well. So these are all structural upgrades at the first phase, and then you go to design center. That's why I say you're going to spend between 30 and 40, and people don't even realize it
30 and 40
because
is light. If you're doing 30 and 40, that's maybe a kitchen and flooring, maybe. You,
well, it depends on the builder too. That's what I did. Like, no, I did do a lot actually. Take that back.
for 40,000.
No, I did. We spent way more than that
Oh, I was
because
gonna
what
say I
happened.
haven't. The last one I did, they're spending 70,000, and that was like flooring, meaning getting rid of the carpet in the main areas and getting all getting off
I was th- I was thinking about what me
LVP,
and my
by the
wife.
way, changing it to LVP, and then
It's
on top
very
of that,
expensive.
getting a gourmet kitchen, and then the
What
low key one of the most underrated upgrades, 8-foot door frames through house. I always say, yo, if you get that, check that
Yeah, it
box.
does. It does make your house look really good. I was thinking about me and my wife when we did our upgrade because I always try to do comparison like what we did. But the one thing that I noticed when we bought our house and what changed now when I went to a builder, they changed the gourmet package now to you have to add. There's like Pulte definitely did it. Even though you get a gourmet package, it doesn't come with double ovens or something like that. It's something weird. You got to get a
Oh,
whole nother package.
yeah, because it comes with a oven
I'm like, what?
microwave combo. It looks like
Yeah,
it's double oven, but it's really oven microwave.
it might. Yeah. So, then that's over. So gourmet kitchen, you're looking between $15,000 to $20,000. Just throwing some numbers out there. Extended lanai, you're looking at between $10,000 to $20,000. Elevations can go from a couple of $5,000 to $10,000. It just depends on the elevation. The sliding doors, a couple of thousands of dollars. To add a tub, say you want the tub instead of the bigger shower, you're looking a couple of $1,000s there. So, these are all them things add up. You guys,
Yeah,
it adds up.
the advantages of going through them is that you can get the upgrades financed into the loan. So if you want to not tie up capital, you know, you can. In other words, you don't want to spend your own money, and you want to get it into the loan. That's the way they do it. But best believe it's coming at a cost because they're going to make a profit off of you.
So So he said a great thing there with my bar. Do the math, you guys, because sometimes it just make some people be like, I don't want to spend that much. But I said, just do the math. If this is not your forever home, say you're gonna be there 5 to 10 years, just do the math for how much it costs, times it, divide it, and be like, well, it's gonna be way cheaper for me to just add it to the loan. I'm paying 20, $30 extra for me adding this big old lanai in the back compared to me spending out my pocket after the fact. $10,000, $15,000, and all that money is gone. So just do some simple math to see if this gonna be a forever home. That's a different story. But if you know you're not gonna be there forever and you want it right now, just do the math and it'll make sense. You may be approved for 700,000, but you didn't want to spend over 650.
People are like
But
700,000. Oh my god.
yeah, but when you do the math, I said talk to your lender and figure out what's the difference with $50,000 on your monthly. Say if it's $100, that's only $1,200 for the year, but that item may cost $20,000 that you wanted. Does it make sense? So just think about them things there too. That's why you gotta have a realtor sometimes, just to be real with you and just ask. A realtor should be able to ask the buyer or your seller them tough questions that you think may be uncomfortable. It is what it is, because I'm gonna ask the question. If you tell me that's what you really want to do, then I'll leave it alone. But I feel bad if I don't mention it and then you do a decision and then you be like, man, I spent, hey, Tremaine, man, I don't think I said, well, I
you
told
know,
you.
I, shout out to all you new homes. I know I get a lot of people that watch my stuff that's a new home salesperson. Shout out to you, but the reason why they don't want us in the deal is because they don't want us calling them on that. We go in there real quick and be like, hey, is that included? Is that because I see it in real time when we're walking through and you're like, oh my god, this is beautiful. This is exactly what I wanted. But next thing you know, that's a $40,000 upgrade they throw on you at you to get you to fall in love with that property. And that upgrade
Right?
might change the whole feel of the property, what you were expecting. And that's what we know.
What?
We know like what you're looking, because when we meet with you as professional real estate agents, when we meet you, hey, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? And we're kind of getting a vibe for what you're trying to do as your goals and how you're living. And we're like, and I could tell you when we go into a place and I'd be like, hey, this ain't gonna achieve what you think it's gonna achieve. And you're gonna be spending all that money and you're still not gonna get what you want. I don't want you to be mad. I'm
Facts.
gonna be honest with you.
You're 100% correct, man. Is that and the other sad thing about new construction, you guys, like I'm got two deals right now, and I'm not in the loop, and it feels horrible, but it is what it is. I've been doing it for a while. I don't know nothing that's going on in them deals. I have to reach
They're
out to
racking them up,
the.
bro. They're racking up all the upgrades.
I
They're
have to
giving them
reach.
all the stuff.
I gotta reach out to my buyers to let me know where the process at in the home and stuff like that. The communication with builders now is horrible. It's not like it used to be. They put a group chat message. You know what's going on.
What do you
When
mean? I
stuff
still
getting
got that.
done.
Why can you get that
Nah,
from your agent?
I'm not everybody's different. Even with the loan officer, you know what's going on. It's happened to me quite a bit lately. Like
Mm.
my Pulte, no, so I'm on a contract with Pulte. I don't know. I don't have no communication, no group chat, no nothing they made. My homes one, I know everything that's going on. They show us the house. That communication is good, but Pulte communication is horrible. I got to reach out to the buyer. People like, yeah, we just did a walkthrough. We just did this. I'm like, dang, I don't know nothing. There don't been no email, no anything. But a lot of builders are like that
Oh
too as
man.
well. They try to keep you out the loop, you guys. That's why it's important to have a realtor when you're doing new construction. There's so many things that goes on. You may think everything's all pretty at the beginning, but when that process, you start going through that process and you start noticing weird stuff, that's when you're going to want a realtor so we can help you out on certain situations.
Let's go to our last and final. I know we beat that dead horse. I literally saw our viewership just dip. Oh, you guys are talking super nerdy about new construction. But let's get into our final uh, topic. Central Florida needs way more housing. What is next? So
Heck
there's
yeah,
some
they do.
good stats coming out of here, real quick. Did you know that Central Florida, the Metro Orlando area, is the fourth fastest growing U.S. metro?
Yeah, I could tell by the traffic.
Yep. So we grew between 2022 and 2023 54,916 people. That
And
means
it's
that
continuing to grow.
every week there's 1,500 new people moving into Central Florida locally. Not only that, the region as a whole, I'm assuming this is like the Florida region, between Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, grew 2.81 million within that same amount of time. So so what's happening? Home inventories actually rose from 4.5% by 4.5% to 9,376 homes in April, but yet the market supply actually fell by zero point 0.1, which is not that big of a fall. But for the inventory to rise that much and no change in months of supply, that told you that those all those houses are being absorbed, meaning they're getting built and they're getting sold. So what is that causing? A lot in the region that's causing a housing shortage. So even though we're talking about all this new construction, there's actually a housing shortage for the amount of people that we have.
It definitely is.
Almost 48% of people in the Orlando metro spend more than 30% of their housing income, with some spending up to 50% of their income towards their house. So that means that people are like they think that people are one emergency away from losing their home. This is a crazy stat. So what am I thinking about this? Um, there's some issues here because homes are quickly, um, as they're getting built, they're getting sold, and a lot of people are on the fence between buying new construction and because of interest rates, and it's still not affecting the market. The prices are still going up.
Yep, it is.
That is the actual stat. So what are things they're thinking about? They're thinking about lowering rents, so doing some local initiatives to lower the rent prices. I don't foresee it. I think rents are already lowering. I think naturally, I think rents have capped out around 1,900 a month, and they're starting to go down. Um, Streamlined government process that goes to what we talked about last segment when it comes to housing starts. It's taking longer to build, so they want to streamline the process so that homes can get built quicker. They want to find alternatives for impact fees. Impact fees are fees that get paid when they build a new house, and like I think in Orlando, the impact fee is like $18,000 for a brand new property. So that goes right into taxes. And then an incentive for more affordable housing development. This is we just went over that last week, and we see that that's not. So even though we went over all these new construction and how the prices are going up and inventories are going up, but then it's still not affecting months of supply. There's still a housing shortage in Central Florida. What do you think about that, Mr. Right Choice?
No, I know it is. I can tell by my buyers when I be looking for stuff for them. They just not building homes fast enough. Well, they're not building homes fast enough, really. And all these developments, they still on under the way. Like you look at, for example, Toll Brothers. People in a house right now, they tell me they got to wait a year. You got to wait a year. You got a lot of people want to buy homes. It's just there's homes sitting on the market longer, but new construction still. I can't just go to new construction because some of them they don't release their homes until a certain phase now, so you can't buy it at the beginning phase, and anymore. So they're going to sell so many homes a month too as well because they don't have enough people that could work on to build. So I definitely can see that, man. The traffic here. I could just go by the traffic or whatnot by how much we have grown, and also all the toll roads that they're upgrading. We're going to from 2 lanes to 4 lanes now, basically everywhere here in Orlando. Um, all the different pocket areas are getting developed more. Restaurants, grocery stores are getting developed in all the little pocket areas around here on the east side, west side. So you don't have to drive so much. You don't have to drive like 20 minutes and 30 minutes to, the convenient places you used to go to. They're building to where you're living at now that I have noticed too as well. So it's definitely changing. A lot of schools are getting built. Schools are getting overgrown. A lot of kids, especially in Winter Garden, they got a new school they're building there. So that's even growing to a lot too, well, for if you got kids, to make it more convenient.
There,
So, and hospitals getting more convenient to different areas too now. So
oh,
it's
there's a
just it's
hospital
growing
coming.
like crazy.
There's a hot. Me and my son, we were going to Waterford Lakes, and we saw this new HCA hospital, and he lives like 2 miles away from there. And he's like, "What? When did that hospital get built?"
They building fat, bro. They building like hospitals super quick.
Mm-hmm. So that
Yeah,
that's
man.
to
So
when I read stats like this, when I read articles like this, it makes me realize that we are in a city that's growing, and that's a plus for us. For my investment, for my real estate investment, that's a good plus for me. That means that it's going to be a long time before my prices go down because we can't build fast enough for the people that are moving here. My only
facts.
concern, though, my concern is that once we stop reading stories like this, we're going to read stories like one came out the other day that said Florida has become one of the most expensive states to live in. So as the word has gotten out already the last 2 years, this is a lagging indicator. This is the indicator from 2022, 2023. When the 2023, 2024 numbers come out and it shows that there's a dip in this, it's going to paint the picture that Orlando and Florida itself is no longer the affordable state that it once were. So that's going to start happening.
Well, it's already changed already. I know we top 5 or something like that. I know it's crazy.
Hey, but
So
listen, that's enough for today, man. We're 52 minutes in. I think we beat this head horse. I think we went really nerdy on upgrades on property, on new construction. We showed you what Warren Buffett thought of DR Horton specifically. There's a bunch of other builders. Again, Jermaine, we talk about that we need to do a builder wars. To figure out where we rank our builders. We need to get that idea to fruition. Let's get that down.
yeah,
I
I can do
think
that.
that way we
We can
can
do that.
figure out like our opinion where we rank the builders. Because I know there's builders I automatically go like, hey, that's a great builder. And there's reason why. And I would love to share that with y'all if you're interested. If you're interested in something like that, send me a DM, send me an email. Let me know, hey, yeah, I want to know what you think about our builders. Then I showed you um, how developers are struggling right now getting loans and how's that affecting the local economy. We showed you that, and at the end we showed you how we have a housing shortage and there's no solution in sight as of yet. So I didn't want this to be an episode of all doom and gloom. This is all, to me, it's a great sign. It's a sign of a developing city. It's a sign of a area that is going to continue to grow. Um, I think Orlando is like in phase two of itself. You know what I mean? If I want to be honest about it, phase 2 or 3 by now. And I think the future is bright for where you're living, and I think you should be happy about all the stuff that's happening.
Yes, sir. So I ain't got nothing else for you guys today. I'll be back next week. Got some ideas for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode here, you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.